Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are taking a look at a big slate here on, Friday night to end the week, Nate. After Thanksgiving, I think we're all pretty stuffed, but ready for some more hoops after one day break there. As I said, 14 games on the slate tonight. In this one, we're taking a look at the Los Lakers, who are taking on the Spurs in San Antonio. Some help coming for the Lakers, we think, in the way of LeBron James. We'll talk about all of that here in just a minute. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We also got another game video up for you and our player props that we're staying super hot for you guys this season with. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content for you guys. Nate and the gang puts the picks up there each and every weekday of this season. Also have our great odds finder tool in there where you can go ahead and make sure you're shopping those lines and those player props to the best of your ability in the NBA this season, getting all the juice you can back there. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this slate and then talk Lake Show and Spurs.
Yeah, 14 games, so all but two teams playing here on Black Friday. We got Minnesota -5 at Charlotte. The Sixers still shorthanded, +2 at Orlando. Blazers without Dame, +3.5 at the Knicks. These Lakers are -3 at the Spurs, total of 232. Come back to that in a sec. Wizards +3 at the Heat. The Kings +8 at the Celtics with a 238 total as the top two offenses tangle at the Garden. The Hawks are -7.5 at Houston. The Bulls are -3 at the Thunder. The Cavs +4 at the Bucks. The Nets -3.5 at Pacers. The other game we break down, Pellies are +2.5 in Memphis. And Josh, that total is actually down to 227, 2 points lower than when we just talked about it. Pistons +12 at Suns. Jazz +8 at Warriors. And then the Nuggets -3.5 at the Clippers with Jokic probable there. He's dealing with a little injury, but seems to be good to go. So the Lakers, I mean, it's weird to see the spread shrinking from -7, I guess, to -3. I guess there's some, conjecture that either Anthony Davis or LeBron James doesn't play, even though both have a chance to play tonight. LeBron hasn't played since November 9th. The abdomen injury is expected to make his return soon. This is a weird situation where it's a back-to-back without leaving San Antonio. So, I mean, the Lakers management-wise could sit AD and sit LeBron on the back end and say, you know what, we can beat the Spurs with just one of these guys, and they'd be absolutely right. I mean, the Spurs are the worst team in the NBA recently. I guess the Rockets can give them a run for the money, but I don't think the Spurs are even putting out competitive lineups or necessarily giving a competitive message in terms of let's go and win. They've lost 11 of their last 12. This is what we talked about on Wednesday before they were blown out by the Pelicans. They've been down by 20 in, I think, 6 of those last 10 games. And at some point down by 20. They're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. Worst defensive rating by far, 126 in that span, -22 net rating. Scoring just 102 points per game and getting the second highest percentage of points off twos in that span. So if Anthony Davis is playing, I am so on board with the Lakers here at -3. I mean, considering they just handled 3 bad teams. The Nets are, I don't know what to make of them, but they handled the Spurs. That's for damn sure. Beat them 123-92 recently as they're trying to get their season on track. And the first sign that you're doing that is you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And you apparently just beat them down. The Lakers shot 53% with AD leading the charge there. AD now averaging 35.5, 18 rebounds with a 91 defensive rating and scoring almost everything in the paint in his last 4. He's back to being AD. You put up one of those mind-boggling lines in a loss at Phoenix, and now he comes back against a Spurs team that he's pretty much roasted, 31 points and 14 boards in his last 5 meetings against the Spurs. Jakob Poeltl has been a turnstile lately. Again, I don't know what the messaging is or what the motivation is for the Spurs, but he has a 122 defensive rating. His last 3 is a -53 in those games. Another key thing to watch here, even though it might not seem that important, is Zach Collins going to play for the Spurs? He's questionable with a leg. He's missed a couple games. If he's out, I think Anthony Davis, you hit his props. You hit the player performance doubles, expecting him to lead Lakers to a win here. But yeah, again, you got to watch the Lakers news here. I mean, either way, -3 against the Spurs, who, like I just told you, are -22 in their last 6 games. I mean, I have a hard time thinking of a team that I wouldn't want to jump on that with. And the Lakers, despite their early struggles, they're still finding some depth here. I mean, in that beatdown of the Spurs, they had 4 double-digit scorers off the bench. You know, Schroeder can still put the ball in the basket, say what you will about the rest of his game. Kendrick Nunn's starting to find his footing after a year off. And Russ, even though he's been cold again, still scoring and assisting with that second unit it's a lot more impressive than what the Spurs can trot out there with their second unit. And just even with their first unit when it comes to finding offense. So, I mean, spectacular tank job right now from San Antonio.
Totally. I mean, a wonderful job. Obviously, like we've joked, like they do everything better than everybody, including Tank. And yeah, AD's back to a degree. I mean, to what degree? I think he looks like himself. Anyway, I've been watching those Lakers games, and when Russell Westbrook and Lonnie Walker actually pass him the freaking ball, he scores like every freaking time. He got to the line like 16 times in that last game against Phoenix, in a game where Phoenix had plenty of front court to work against him with Biyombo and Ayton, and nobody could touch him as he ate them both up. Like I said, got to the free throw line 16 times, had the 21 boards, had the 36 points. So that was a big telling game. It was on national television at the late night game for us out here in the West Coast. And it looked really, really, really good for him. It didn't look really, really good when Russell Westbrook and Lonnie Walker were still controlling things, because it's just them flying at the rim without making a single pass. There's no rhythm. There's no waiting for AD. It was very frustrating as someone who likes basketball. But if LeBron is in, I think he's very aware that this AD is the one that LeBron wants to be on the floor. It's like, dude, take over. I'm giving you the sort of, the armband here, the captain's armband, and saying go for it. And I think he'll continue to do that. So I think LeBron being in would be huge. For if they both play for AD as well. To your point, if they both don't play, I think we still feel okay about the -3.5. This dropped. It opened at 7 for the Lakers, and I think that's because we don't know for sure that AD is playing. There are LeBron James props up, which leads us to believe that LeBron is playing. But even if AD's not playing, it's still a very similar style of offense, just not quite the same finisher in the middle of the lane if someone like Thomas Bryant is in there. But they have figured out at least enough of, like, we need Austin Reeves on the floor hitting threes. We need that added 3-point shooting, even though they're still taking the third most field goal attempts from 2 in the league. They at least need to be able to threaten that they're going to shoot the ball from deep. And that's really what also opens up Russell Westbrook to be a lot better. A key stat here for me in their last like 6-ish games where they've actually won 4 of them or so, or I guess 3, but still, they've played a lot better in those games. It is the fact that they are all the way down to like top 10 in terms of turning the ball over. They've limited that turnover percentage all the way to the tune of like being, like I said, 10th best in the league over the course of their last 6 games, which is huge for them, because before that, the opponent's points off of turnovers and the turnovers themselves were just destroying this team, absolutely murdering them, similar to how the Warriors sort of let themselves get shot in the foot when they turn the ball over. But the Lakers have been playing better defense. It's the offense that has finally come around to be in the top 20 as opposed to roughly dead last or 27th or what have you in the league in terms of points in the paint. They've finally upped those a bunch. Like I said, if they're going to be getting those 2-point field goals, better to be getting those points in the paint. The Spurs, as you said, are nothing but a turnstile down low. That's really where we start. Points off turnovers, fast break points, all things the Lakers are doing this season in the top 5, 6, 7 in the league. Spurs bottom 3 in all of those important categories as well. Opponents' points off turnovers, fast break points, points in the paint. Everywhere that's just important. Where can I get an easy bucket? Can I get a free throw? Can I get a layup? And if the Spurs are willing to give it to you all over the floor, you don't even really need to shoot threes against them. Their opponent 3-point percentage isn't exactly like stifling in any way, but it's not it's actually, I'm sorry, it is dead last. So it's to the tune of 40%. I was trying to give them some credit. I was looking in the last 6 games, it's dead last. For the season, it's a little bit better, but in the last 6, it is dead last for the Spurs as well. So not really much to say that they have much to stop anybody on any parts of the floor. So Lakers -3.5 with or without both of them. At least one of them will be playing in terms of LeBron AD. Give me those 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, they give you the things you need to jumpstart your offense. If you're not shooting well from the perimeter, which the Lakers still are not, even though they're scoring 60 points in the paint in this 4-game span. They're scoring 118 per game, mostly because AD, like we're saying, is just getting his. Speaking of giving somebody the damn ball, Austin Reeves, 16 points per game on a 13% usage rate his last 4. Westbrook, 14 points on a 29% usage rate. Austin Reeves is shooting 61% from 3 in that span. He's a plus 51. And I mean, if LeBron plays and AD plays, I guess Reeves bumps to the bench, and then, you have a much better second unit if you're the Lakers. The advantage down low is just so stark in their last matchup. Lakers won the rebounding by 10. They shot 14 more free throws than the Spurs. Really just played at a very fast pace, 41 for 105 from the floor. But just yikes, this shooting was abysmal. Keldon Johnson still ice cold, 4 for 20 from the floor and 1 for 10 from 3. I just don't know how the Spurs are going to be able to come along, or if they even care to. It's just it's a team you want to target until there's something to indicate that they can jump up and play with some pride. And you look at last year, they did actually beat the Lakers twice. DeJounte Murray just carried them, though, right? Triple-double in the first 2 meetings, 26, 10, and 8 on a 30% usage in the last win. And like we said against the Pelicans, he ain't there no more. There's really nobody that scares you in the Spurs offense.
No, and one of those massacres of 138-110 victory for the Spurs last year was without either of those guys in the lineup as well in terms of LeBron and AD. I feel like that's what would propel the Spurs to victory as they're playing the Lakers, and then they're going to care because it's the Lakers. But I just don't think that's enough. It's not like they can just decide to be better on defense because they still haven't. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We'll be back each and every weekday with these player props and game videos for you. So until we see you next, happy betting.